to earn tomorrow. You got to learn today.
First National Bank is pleased to offer Vincentians the First National Bank Preserve. Get an unsecured loan of up to $30,000 for roof repairs, water tanks, generators, or any other protective measures. No deposit required, with interest rates as low as 8%. It's the First National Bank Preserve. Visit us at Heritage Square or call 456-1501 for more information. First National Bank Preserve, preserving the livelihood of all Vincentians. Terms and conditions apply. First National Bank, here for you.
Cloud9 wants you to know that they're having their biggest sale ever. Save between 50 to 80% on everything store-wide. Shoes and clothing for the whole family, toys, household items, swimwear, and more. Don't miss out on this crazy sale. Everything must go. What are you waiting for? Get it before you miss it. Offer applies while stocks last. Some restrictions apply. Cloud9 is open Mondays to Fridays 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and Saturdays 9 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Boy, that's where you getting crashing on. Your brakes real good, boy.
Now brakes alone good enough. My tires good too.
Tires? Where you get them tires, boy?
Out by Caribbean Tire Plus, man. They out in Addersville. Can't miss it. Look for the orange container on them. Plenty parking space and open 7 days a week all thing, man. Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And on Sundays, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Call them today. Caribbean Tire Plus, 784-432-4786 or email ctiresplus@gmail.com.
99.9 WEFM.
Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
All right, and time here in SVG, it is now 8:45, and we are back with another commentary segment of today's Activated Mornings program. All right, I was wondering what happened there. All right, Doc, were you ready? You didn't get any memo this morning? Wait, boys, let me sing it.
Yes, I did. I did. The idea is, but
you got the memo?
I always allow the ladies to take the lead. There are things I might love to talk about, but I'm one of those. I think women as boss. You said, and so go ahead.
That's actually a song.
Was that? Was that?
No, that's actually a song. Denise Plummer. I think Denise Plummer. There's actually a song.
I know that. I know there's a song. Yes, absolutely. But I'm saying it in words, not in song. I'm saying it in words, and I mean it. So which?
All right.
What topic?
All right. So we could probably just do some comments. I think there were a few comments on this segment. So remember that it is an interactive program. Yes, we saw somebody calling or trying to call earlier, but we couldn't take the call at the time because of we knew that the court's call was going to come in. All right. So it is an interactive program, and to get interactive with us, the number to call is 457-9997 if you wish to lend your voice to today's discussion. All right. I think I saw something else. All right. So we were talking about women being vocal or persons being vocal. And I saw that Kojo is saying that Faith Grant is a perfect example. Oh, Joshua said it, right. That Faith Grant is a perfect example. And for those of you who are not familiar with Faith Grant, you should check out, is it One News St. Vincent?
I think so. Searchlight.
And St. Vincent Times as well, right? So there is an interview with Faith Grant and the PM, and it's titled, Visually Impaired 9-year-old masters Mandarin, French, and Spanish, and she's self-taught. Now, I first became, quote-unquote, acquainted with Faith Grant through an interview that she did with SVG TV. It may have been a year ago or so. And I was in awe of this little girl, right? She is visually impaired, but she is so vocal. She is so eloquent in her speech. And one of the things that I respect about her is that she doesn't hold things back, right? The PM asked her a question. So during that interview, if you want to see the full interview, you go on the several sites that we mentioned, St. Vincent Times, Searchlight, and I think One News St. Vincent also has it, right? And so in that interaction that she had with the PM asked her, "Have I tired you?" And Faith responds, "Extremely." Now, many adults would try to polish it and that sort of thing, but Faith was done. Faith was like, "I'm done with this interview. I don't want to be asked any more questions." And the PM left out such a hearty laugh, And this is exactly what we're talking about in terms of allowing children to be vocal, because somebody might have said, "No, Faith, you don't," or something like that, or that sort of thing. May try to have quieten her, but she expressed her opinion. She said it. And as the adult in the room, the PM, he laughed about it, So these are little things, but I really urge everybody to go and check out that interview. You could probably just do a Google search to see if the other interview that she did with SVG TV comes up. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I'll be very honest, though, when I looked at the SVG TV interview, part of me wonders if she should not be in a different school setting for more gifted children.
I didn't. What school she attends?
Oh Lord, I can't remember the name of the school. I can't remember the name of the school.
Oh, so she's
going
in one of our normal.
Yeah, she's in the normal the public school, and but I think in that interview she's sort of separate in terms of they have. So because she's visually impaired, normally, persons may prefer to send the children to school for children with special needs, but she's actually going to a regular government school. But I think has specialized teaching or individualized teaching. But even thinking of it, for me,
I wonder if it's Fair Hall. Anyways, go on.
I think it might be Fair Hall, actually.
Because I know they have this inclusive program there. Okay.
Right. I think it's Fair Hall. Correct. Right. And but I still think that even her being here in SVG, part of me wonders if she's being limited in terms of how far she can reach, But yeah, that's just me thinking there.
No. Okay, no, you may be right, Roleza. I tend to challenge you on that. When we talk about medical services, endocrinologists, and all them kind of things, I'll challenge you on those particular things about the value of St. Vincent.
Well, Dave just challenging me too. So go ahead, let me hear.
What I found fascinating about this was that in terms of languages, she was able to use Google. And when some persons are visually impaired, some of their other senses become more enhanced, such as her sense of hearing and other deeper senses in terms of perception and so forth, as well as smell and so forth. Yeah. But that hearing, she was able to learn Mandarin and so forth, in terms of Google Translator and all these sort of things through that. Now, what this means is that we have been taught to some degree that it's only face-to-face type teaching that works, and that the use of ICT and Google and so forth is like not the right way to do it. That is adulterating it, and that's the wrong way. That's cheating, so to speak. And I want to say, if she's able to use that means, what it's showing, she's serving as an example that many other kids could utilize the form of ICT. Several months, sometime last year, Crystal and we talked about artificial intelligence and chat GPT and all those other things. We pointed out more along the dangers, but we're now seeing some clear advantages of these things. And so the use of ICT, the use of these means, Google and so forth, is something that other kids may well be able to utilize to fill the gap, to catch up with people who are in other places, much more advanced settings. It's a leveling of the playing fields to some degree. And that's why I felt I wanted to challenge, but not in the challenging form. I wanted to more put it that other kids can now learn from this young lady, 9-year-old, that they too could utilize some of those same means, as well as the face-to-face and more experienced teachers in other institutions, so that they could get a faster track and more advancement in their education. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so let me just say, okay, maybe I was unclear or not very specific what I'm saying. To me, she has an advanced level of knowledge. So I look at her as possibly being like a savant, right? An exceptionally gifted young lady. So when I said that, I think that maybe she should be in a different setting. It had nothing to do with her being an example to other students, right? I can appreciate and understand that. But because of her level of intelligence, and it seems as if that she could do a bit more, part of me wonders if the current system or the current educational setting that she has, if she is, quote unquote, in a sense, being limited to some extent. Now, yes, I know that there's a flip side to that argument or that type of discussion where if you take an exceptionally gifted child out of a particular age group or a particular environment that is of their peers, that they're going to lose out on certain aspects of life in terms of they're going to be that whole social interaction is going to be at an advanced level and they're not going to be among their peers, right? But because there is just something about her that seems to be very exceptional to me. Yeah. And I also would not want her to be limited in a sense to not doing more, not reaching more, not gaining more. Yes. So that's what I meant.
And you know, I'll tell you something. Once you see somebody like the Prime Minister takes an interest, I would believe, I'm not going to say anything premature, that those things may be on track, because you're right. I think you're absolutely right along that line. There may be institutions that can harness, and from the experience of those institutions, find out the mechanism by which somebody like her with specific challenges could go much further. So I agree with you. I still want to bring this out, that in terms of the individual, the broader aspect of our students, there are other aspects of the opportunities like she's taken up that they should be utilizing too. So it goes both ways. And I'm glad we were able to bring out the two aspects.
Yeah, but well, I guess Dianna could probably lend her voice to this as well, in terms of the school system, right? Because one of the things too is that we tend to see sometimes most children are being taught at the same level, right? They're being taught at the same level, and sometimes we have to wonder, is it of benefit to, let's say, those who are taking a longer time to catch up, or those who are gifted in a sense?
Not exactly. One, I don't know what specialized institutions we have here, to be honest. I really don't know. Apart from the School for Children with Disability, I don't know if they didn't have a name change or something, but except for that school, and I understand that Fair Hall has some sort of inclusive program. But the thing about, and I could tell you that the Ministry of Education is advocating for inclusion, inclusive education, they're training teachers and so on. But an important thing in inclusive education is the tools. And oftentimes we're not hearing that we're getting this particular tool, you're not getting that, but you're getting the information. You might go to a workshop and told what you should and shouldn't do. But the key thing, which are the tools that you need for some of these things, you don't have it. I would say that it is not exactly beneficial or fully beneficial to students everybody being taught on the same level, because there are those that are slower and need extra attention, and you cannot give them you cannot give them as much attention as they may require, because you have to, quote unquote, finish the curriculum. Secondly, for those that are a little bit more advanced, you teachers would be encouraged to have extra work for those children who are a little bit more, but this is talking about schoolwork. This is academics here. It's not even the other aspects, right? But academically, you have extra work for those who are a little bit more ahead, who may finish a little faster than the other students who basically would know the answers, who could teach your class, right? You find something extra for them to do, and that's the most I could say at the moment. Yeah, that's it.
But Roleza, we must, 40 years ago, the number of institutions existed in this country. The grammar school and high school was just for a certain set. The amount of people who were able to come from rural areas or the Grenadines or from poorer societies was very limited. You do have to provide a broad-based education system for everybody. And where I want to agree with you is that for those who are exceptional, you do have to find those particular opportunities for them too. But you have to make sure that we correct what took place in the past. I mean, prior, and I go back to slavery, I go back to places in America, education was not available, period, for people, young person. Your grandparents and so forth may not have had access in some form or fashion. The leveling of that process makes it fair for all, but you do have to get the exception. But it shouldn't be one outweighing the other. You know what I mean? And in terms of resources, I can tell you the amount of money that's gone into education, the scholarships, the this, the other, and so forth. So that, I think that a lot of us would not have had these opportunities if there wasn't this particular process of trying to advance not only the more advanced persons, the people who have that genius kind of thing, but also advancing the general person who may be apt to fall behind because they don't have the school bags and the transportation to go to school and the access and the school in their community and the food and all those sort of things and so forth. So it's a combination of these two that we have to advance both.
We do, and we also have to look at the soft skills that many children are leaving school with. Because when they get into the workforce, you wonder what's happening, right? And many of them, they come out with all of this education, but seemingly no common sense, right? So that is also something that needs to be looked at, because in the workplace, and I hear it from managers from time to time, in terms of that difficulty when it comes to them actually performing on the job, right? You pack a education, you pack a certificates, you pack a qualifications, paper qualifications, but that practical transference or even that way of interacting or interpersonal skills seems to be missing from many of the graduates, so that is also something that needs to be addressed, and maybe as another time.
Wanted to speak on that one thing. Parents, a lot of parents, and I could say they don't know any better, and they could be excused because they don't know better. They push book more than anything else. They don't believe that you should have free time. They don't believe you should even being involved in theater, being involved in sports. To them, this is just extra waste of time. You don't have time for that. Book is book. You're not, mommy, I want to do swimming now. We can't study. Mommy, I want to do tennis. No. Mommy, I want to be involved in drama. No. What is important is your book. And that is, I think, one of the reasons for that. A lot of parents who just believe that you should just be about the academics and not focusing on what we call extracurricular. It's crazy that the extracurriculars are... I will discuss that another time, but the extracurriculars, yeah.
You mean the use of the word?
Yeah,
the term?
yeah. And,
okay.
and how we treat it. But if you... Let's leave it there for today.
All right, so we definitely have to leave it there.
We leave it there today, but I want to just end that talking about the tools. I am again finding that the ICT tools, the tools that we've been scorning and using just for games and for play and so forth, they can be utilized to help, just like this 9-year-old in learning languages, to attain a lot of these other type of skills, both academic as well as certain soft skills. And I think that a movement has to be driven to push this, because I agree with Dianna. You know, just going with the books and so forth may not be enough. But for those who are more advanced, allow them to be able to do that more. It may be that there may not be an institution that we can afford, but there can be means through ICT means and other institutions and things like that are online, where they can actually get those things today. I'm telling you about it. And we got to research that to make sure that it's available without necessarily having to build a building and put a couple of $1 million into this when those resources are not there. It can be done. And I think that's the moral coming out of this in the broader sense. This 9-year-old girl is showing us the way. And I'm going to take advantage of this. There's a lot more I have to learn too, the languages and so on. I'm going to do just what she's been doing. Watch out for me.
All right. One more thing, though. I'm just at it. No, I didn't watch Faith's interview. I read an article. I didn't watch any of the interviews. I don't know if this was mentioned, but I am curious to know how much of her achievement is, linked to her parental involvement. Because while we know some children are able to excel and do things on their own, and we may say, give them this and give them that, or the teacher should. What about the parents? Because a lot of times when you see children like this and they're above normal, they're really excelling, they have some very heavy parental involvement. Yeah, so I'm curious to know, how much of that.
I'd have to look back at the SVG TV interview to see if her mother, I think her mother was on it, I'd have to look back to confirm, but yeah, right, that's my homework for tonight. All right, so we absolutely have to jump out at this time. As a time here in SVG, it is 9:04, and it is time for us to bring to you today's ECCB currency exchange